Hello and welcome to Property Question Time. I'm Stephen Galpin, and normally this is the show where you can have your property related questions answered by a team of experts. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be looking at the international scene, which means that we're going to be looking at sales of properties to the UAE and Asia Pacific areas, and those areas buying in London. And I'm lucky to have with me today Zoe Allen, who is founder of Paradine property marketing experts internationally. Welcome to you.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Good to have you here. Zoe, I've been in sort of property marketing for, almost 100 years, I think. That's what it seems like.
Can you join the team?
Yeah, right. And I'm always interested to know how reciprocal the business is. We go in London in particular, we have influxes of perhaps Russian buyers or Middle East buyers or Chinese buyers, and I'm always interested to know whether that's reciprocated abroad or whether it is one-way traffic most of the time.
Yeah, good question. My main focus currently is on international buyers buying in the UK.
Okay.
And we're about to focus the other way, our efforts the other way as well. So our experience of buyers looking at the UK is a hot market still at the moment for those, particularly in the Middle East, which is where my main focus is right now. And they're looking at London, but also the northern cities. So that market is bounced back since COVID and is growing and is expected. I mean, their economy is flying, so that does help as well. So they've got money to spend and they're investing over here. On the flip side, as Brit's looking overseas, can I come back and tell you that later?
Yeah.
So we're working at the moment on a campaign to educate UK investors on buying into the Dubai market. The Dubai market is growing. The economy over there, again, is booming. So you've got the buyers living in that area who are buying into their own market, as well as internationals buying over there. But we've had a tougher economy over here. So there's less money floating around, less money to invest overseas. And we're a bit more cautious, I think, at the moment. So it'd be interesting to see what the appetite is like once we launch our campaigns.
Now, let's first of all deal with perhaps UAE people buying over here. Have they been disturbed with this new rental reform bill and all the new legislation that's coming in for renting? Has it affected the market at all?
I don't. So I think those kind of reforms will affect the smaller landlords and who have a small portfolio.
If there are any left.
Yeah, if there are any left. The buyers from overseas, if they're looking into investment properties and rentals, they're looking at buying as a family office or a fund where they'll be buying up multiple properties and they have a bigger portfolio. So for those where they've got economies of scale and they're buying new builds as well, so the standards of the property are higher because they're buying in the new build market, then they're not so affected by the reforms.
I've always found in the past that overseas buyers here, although they're interested in rental sensitivities, they're really buying for capital gain over a period of time, and the rental market is just simply a cost-effective way of holding the property, I suppose. Really, that's the simplest way.
They are interested in yields as well. So capital gain is important, but also the yields, and that's why they're looking at the northern cities now, like Manchester, because the yields are much higher. So they are interested in that too, in getting some immediate return on their investment.
I thought you sort of fell off the end of the world if you went past the M25.
Wow.
Is that not right?
Apparently not. And actually, I was speaking to one of the team who kind of bridges the gap between the Middle East and here, and I asked her about HS2 because has that impacted that Manchester market? And she says absolutely not, because they're buying to rent their portfolios out in that area to people living in the area who aren't commuting to London, so it hasn't impacted them at all.
Interesting. Now tell me, we have a lot of talk, don't we, in this country about being green, and we're looking at developers. I know you work for one particular big developer who is very conscious of the green market and doing quite a good job in researching it too. Are you finding overseas buyers coming here interested in those green credentials? Do they care?
Yeah, these come from an oil country, so this is my question as well. With
well, you just have COP. What is it? 28.
Yeah, COP 28. They're becoming more conscious, but currently it's not at the forefront of our marketing. They're still like any home buyer. the top priority is location, usually location and like you say, capital gain, rental yields over the green credentials. I think for homeowners, people buying to live in the property, if it's energy efficient, then they are conscious of bills, their ongoing running costs of that property now. I did some marketing for a development that was on the greener side, so ground source heating, and that attracted quite a different buyer. And those buyers who were drawn to ground source heating were then really demanding. They kind of really knew that energy,
stuff,
they were really queued up on it and wanted to know everything, the insulation in the walls. And whereas at the moment for us, our investment buyers, they're not yet asking all those questions. So the figures come first, and I think the green is the nice to have, and the big, by the time stuff lands on my lap as well. I mean, it's years in planning
sure.
and it's already in build, and these companies are having to change and make those changes slowly, but they are, like you said, they are planning to make those changes, and I think the buyer's kind of mentality will shift as well.
Yes. Well, we can only hope that the government know what they're doing when they encourage these things. I mean, it's not so many years ago we were being encouraged to buy diesel cars, is it? That.
Yes.
Look what happened to that, as they say.
Yeah.
And I know the heat source pumps. Again, there's a school of thought that says they're not particularly economical. They cause all sorts of problems when you retrofit.
Yeah.
Pipe gauges and all this sort of thing. So it's quite a complex problem, and I'm never sure the government really have it right.
No, and those EPC changes that they were bringing in, and
then suddenly dropped.
And then they drop them, and landlords are planning ahead. They're thinking, okay, I'm being hit with this now. I'm being hit with interest rates. I'm out. So lots of people sold all their properties, and then they dropped the EPC, but it's too late. People have made their plans.
A lot of smaller landlords that we know and that we see on our programs sometimes, they've sold their portfolios at a discount, at a loss in some cases.
Yeah.
And then the government just shrug their shoulders and say, oh, we've missed it. But I mean, it's again a little bit like maybe one of your clients still does it, is offer leasehold houses on housing estates. They were going to make that a sort of taboo area. Mr. Gove came on the TV the other day and said they'd forgotten to include it because they were legislating at pace, he said. So they missed the whole point of the legislation. But again, coming back to your particular speciality, I suppose the one good thing that remains throughout all these difficulties is the fact that we are a safe country in which to buy property, aren't we? Our legal system works, our ownership deeds work well,
Yeah, we are a safe company to buy. It's a slow-moving system, but it does work. But I think this is also now the USP of places like the Middle East is they also have a safe system, but it works quicker.
And it's fast,
Yes, so that works fast, and that appeals to the UK who are frustrated with our system.
Well, whenever I speak to anybody from UAE or even the Asia Pacific countries, they say, oh, our market's on fire, we're fast, we can complete within days, we can do this, we can do that. What's wrong with England? In the past, we've always said, well, it's because we're safe and we're careful. But of course, so are they now.
Yes, that's
the
it.
thing,
It can't be an excuse anymore.
Yeah, so that's it. But I mean, that must be a huge plus for your marketing, the fact that we are safe and we are pretty stable.
Yeah, and we don't have to. I mean, the UK property market, it's a historic market.
You don't have to explain.
No, we don't have to explain that, and we're also limited on stock and land. So we have all those things. So property values here are always going to go up over time, and I think the overseas investors know that. And I think if you're in that position where you have money to invest, you would diversify your portfolio, not just in your home market, but in another market. It just makes sense. So if one economy is hit in one country, then sometimes you'll have an economy in the other country that's doing well, as it is in the Middle East at the moment.
So did the UAE, did they suffer the COVID problems that we all suffered at the same time?
So I mean, they've had a huge 2022 for them was massive with their oil boom. I wasn't in that UAE market during the COVID time. I was in the UK market, which for us, marketing properties here during COVID was tough. Tough going. So I haven't experienced what
Well,
it was
you
like.
couldn't really show people around anywhere, could you? You couldn't,
No.
you couldn't let them visit. Show homes were closing.
Yeah, that's right. We show home clothes. We had to put everything online quickly, put Matterport in quickly, make sure we had online tours available for everybody. So we soon had to change tact on it. But people want to see, if they're buying 4 walls, they like to see it. So yeah, that was a tough market, and I'm glad we're not there. We're out the other side.
Well, we'll come to one or two of your sort of methods and ways of marketing in part 2. So let's go to a break now. Join me again after the break, when we'll be asking Zoe more about her skills in the international market. Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Property Question Time, where we're looking at the international marketing scenes both ways, both people abroad buying in England and those in England buying abroad. And helping us with this is Zoe Allen. Zoe, coming back to your marketing expertise, people in the UK buying in UAE and Dubai or wherever there, what's the main motivation for buying outside of this country? I mean, our property market's pretty good. So
it is good.
Why are they going to Dubai? Is it just the sunshine, or?
Well, the sunshine, I think, is definitely a bonus. And as we talked earlier about the reforms that are happening over here for landlords. So being a landlord in the UAE is easier. The rental returns, they're looking at around 6%, which is places. There are areas in London, Manchester, that we're also looking at 6%, but average in the UK is more like 3%.
Yeah.
So rental yields are good. Properties tend to be on a new build side over there. So you've got new build properties, less maintenance, good rental market. And here, we just don't know what's happening with these reforms now. They could come out in October next year. They may not. We don't know what they are. So there's so much unknown now for investors in the UK. I'm not surprised that they'll be looking overseas and further afield to put their money into some different markets.
Whenever I've looked at the Dubai market over quite a number of years, it's been quite stop-go at times.
Yeah.
Is that a matter of detriment for our people buying over there? Are they worried about that? Are they worried about consistency of market?
Well, that is a concern. Here we have that history, a track record of stability in the property market.
Almost. We have a track record of having, I think, 16 housing ministers in 10 years, which means about 7 or 8 months each. But apart from that, carry on.
And property it crashes and it goes up and down. But overall, the long-term view, it's up. And we don't have that history in up-and-coming markets like Dubai. But we know that the market is growing over there, the economy is growing, and I think the attitude there is a different attitude. And so, and property prices are, if you look at comparing it to London, Dubai, London, you can buy a lot for your money over there. So, can
you give me a percentage drop in the comparable values between London and Dubai?
Well, I was just looking at, marking a one-bedroom flat in London at the moment for about $500,000, and then in Dubai you're looking at about 270 for similar kind of things.
I mean, here in Canary Wharf, there's developments here. We've got 1-bedrooms now at 800,000.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's quite ridiculous, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
I just don't know how young people get on the ladder at that level.
No, not they just wouldn't in Canary Wharf.
And even then, if it's somebody who's perhaps senior in a company buying a pied-à-terre, it's still a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time you're done with your stamp duty and everything, you're getting towards £1 million, aren't you, for a 1-bedroom flat?
Yeah.
It's tough. Now, you mentioned that the rental returns are quite good in Dubai. Do you have over there a sort of conventional rental market, or is it short-term lets, or what's popular?
I think there's a mix. There is the short-term let market as well. Is a holiday destination. So the Airbnb market is good, and the stats that I've seen, that we're in the stage now where we're just pulling together figures ready for marketing materials. But the stats I've seen on Airbnb are around 20% returns. So there's the potential there to have an Airbnb
We
property.
don't seem to like Airbnb in London. I mean, a lot
Not
of,
on my back door.
a lot of the local authorities don't like it. I mean, having been involved with new developments over a number of years, I suppose the difficulty with short-term lets is that those short-term holiday let people are not going to take such good care of the property as somebody who's got an investment in it, or it's their home or anything else. It's a weekend paradise for a party or whatever, and off you go. So therefore the maintenance rates tend to shoot up, and then you find some of the agents that deal, I'm not going to say specifically with Airbnb, but that model, they go into a new block, it becomes the norm in there, the wear and tear on the common parts becomes high, and then they tend to move off and find a new block to go and operate in. So perhaps Dubai is just not experienced enough yet. I don't know.
I've done property marketing in that space as well, short-term kind of holiday let marketing too. And I think it depends on the property and the level it's at, the cost for the stay, as to the kind of clientele that you attract to it, and then the kind of potential damage that they do or don't do.
Yeah.
And you get the same in rentals. You get tenants that damage rental properties. You either get the ones that they either really look after them like they're their own home, or they completely trash them. When they trash them, they trash them.
Yeah.
And I think it's same in both in the short-term holiday let market as well. They're either really great people that stay, or if you get a bad one, you get a really bad one.
Yeah. But I mean, you can see how the model works. I mean, I've got a friend who's a director of a hotel in the West End of London here. Yeah. It's not 5-star. I'd say it's 4-star. Quite nice.
Yeah.
Quite nice. But they're at £800 a night now.
Yeah.
So that's for a very normal hotel room. And I'm just thinking, well, of course, if you can then hire an Airbnb for sort of a couple of £100 and it'd be quite nice. And all right, you've got to get your own breakfast, but so what? You can see why the model works. But it's quite interesting to see it is really worldwide, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a global brand. People trust it again. They trust the brand. They trust the booking system.
Yeah. So
it's taken.
Now, next thing that interests me is where you get your leads from. You're in a position of advising developers of, this is where you want to market, this is how you want to market, and this is where your leads are going to be generated. So where are they generated from? Is it all social media? Is it the portals? Is it? Tell me.
A mixture. So my area is digital marketing. So we do focus on the social media platforms, and again, different markets use different platforms. So in that Middle East market, with Instagram, Facebook, and we put quite a big spend behind each development for those platforms, Instagram and Facebook. And we're generating our leads, most of our leads through there. We also buy lists, email lists, and then we have the sales team on the ground who are making calls, and partners as well. So we grow through partnerships as well, like other agents and that way. But my focus is definitely on the digital marketing. So social media advertising, and Google as well, Google Ads too.
Right. And do you find that the majority of leads come from what your client developers put on social media, or is it the sub-agents, the appointed agents in both countries that generate their own lists? Yeah,
so for me, I'm working with an agent in that particular market that's representing brands over here, and it's for them, or for us as the marketing team, to push content out onto our own pages in that area, in that region.
Okay. So they have representatives here and in the UAE, for instance?
Yeah, they do.
Both sides?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're getting dual exposure in a way, aren't you?
Yeah, and it's one of the funny questions for me as a marketeer was when I started working with these guys in Dubai. They said, because you're based in the UK, can you advertise to that market, the Middle East market, from the UK? I'm like, this is an online platform. I could be based anywhere in the world. I can use Facebook advertising anywhere. And the Facebook rules change according to the local market. So the rules are different when you advertise, but you can still advertise to any country on Facebook from anywhere. So.
Yeah. Well, we were talking to somebody the other day in one of our programs, and they were saying, look, for heaven's sake, the world's a very easy place to market these days. You've got all these platforms that are essentially free. We know you can enhance them with supplemental costs, but basically they're all free.
Yeah.
The world's open to you, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I do work in my other sector is online learning, and we're on LinkedIn in that sector. And the work we do there is all organic. We have huge organic reach on that platform, no ad spend, and that drives our leads. So there is still places for organic reach.
Although you're limited to 30,000 people, aren't you, on LinkedIn, I think?
30,000 followers?
Yeah.
No, I know. My
so.
client's up to over 45,000.
No,
so. Is that your excuse, Stephen, for not getting over 30,000?
No, I think I got a letter from them that said I was at the limit or
oh, really?
the other day. But no, but it is amazing the power of all these platforms, isn't it? And it really has opened up a new world for you. I mean, in the days I was going over to Hong Kong and Singapore and KLL marketing, I mean, you had to advertise in the South China Post and get people to your hotel, and it was all quite fraught.
Yeah, I mean, and there still is that. We do hotel events. Like we just did a big event recently in Dubai for one of the UK house builders. They flew a team over there, and we did the big campaign on social to drive alongside the sales team who drove leads in, and that was the hotel meeting. And still some people still like the glossy flyers, and so we still do quite a bit of print work in that space as well. So now we have to combine so many different mediums.
People do like to have something in their hand, don't they?
Yeah,
it's the same with very expensive brochures. Working for a number of developers over the years, we've been persuaded to spend sort of 30, 40, 50 pounds even on a brochure, as a hardback book almost.
Yes.
But of course that really is to just give the purchaser the confidence when they go home, isn't it? It actually doesn't sell very much.
Yeah, especially if you're selling into another country and they haven't seen it yet. They haven't seen the product.
Yeah.
That's making the product a bit more tangible.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we still do quite a bit of print work as well. So we have to cover it all now.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, Zoe, I'm going to say thank you very much for coming in today. It's been very informative. Thank you very much indeed. Do wish you well with your marketing in both countries.
yeah, I'll let you know how it goes.
Okay. So there we are. Zoe Allen, founder of Paradine Marketing. I'm Stephen Galpin. Join me again next time on Property Question Time.